All right, we're back with another episode of Shoot the J. Today we are blessed to have sports writer extraordinaires covered every type of sports, local, state, collegiate, or national. Darrell Williams, sports writer extraordinaire, is going to join us for 2 segments, which we haven't had before. And I'd like to welcome him to the show. But as always, what are you drinking this morning?
Well, I'm drinking pineapple juice now. It's a little early. I wanted to get, in a few minutes, I think I'm going to get me a Budweiser.
Oh, all right. All right. Don?
Thank you for the kind intro, though.
I'm like Steve Harvey. I bring you out.
Some people might not agree with that, but what the hell with them?
Don?
Well, a little hot chocolate in my Saints cup, brother. Getting it ready, warmed up for tomorrow.
Very good. Tyrone?
In honor of the new Ford Bronco coming out, a little OJ.
And this is for Don right here. I got a Coca-Cola. It says "Educator" on the side there.
All right,
because it ain't for
bro.
me.
You got 3/4 of it drank already, man.
we waiting on you. I had to drink my Coke to stand waiting for you, man.
I made it though.
Our first topic of the day. Let's start off with Saints versus the Bucs. 2 quarterback legends, first ballot Hall of Famer. Of course, our own Drew Brees and Tom Brady. Darrell, we're going to give you the first crack at it, first analysis. What is your prediction, and what do you think is going to happen for tomorrow's playoff game?
Well, I think the Saints are going to win, but I think it's going to be much closer than, the last one. I think it was, 38-3?
Yes.
You won't see any kind of game like that, I don't think. Tom Brady, I know he's in the 2 games this season against the Saints, he threw 5 interceptions total. He's not going to turn the ball over like that today. And their offense has really picked up some momentum. I mean, their offense is really kind of humming along right now. Of course, you got Antonio Brown. If he's got his head halfway right, I mean, he's such a talented guy. And the thing I like about Brady, when you contrast the 2 quarterbacks, Brees has never had a big arm, a huge arm. Brady has, but he still has it, a really good arm. And Brees' arm is just gone down over the years. And Brady also has more weapons in the passing game than Brees. I think, though, that New Orleans has a better offensive line and a better defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
But sticking to I don't want to step on everybody. So sticking to the 2 quarterbacks, I think the Saints running game with their offensive line is really going to help Brees. And Brady, we don't know. Their offensive line is not that good. They're okay, but they got some injuries on the offensive line, and the Saints defensive line is good. He's going to have his work cut out for him. So Brady's probably going to have to go with shorter passes, shorter drop and shorter passes, and that's going to negate some things. Because what they've been doing better the second half of the season is stretching the field more. Mm-hmm. I don't see that happening a lot today. Tomorrow. I mean, yeah, when they play.
Well, I think that the reason why they're saying that they're starting Leonard Fournette is not because he's a bruising back, is because they want pass protection for Tom Brady. Mm. And my only thing is with the Saints is they are definitely momentum type, rhythmic type of a team, meaning that they're going to come up for this big game. They want this game, and I think it could be a blowout. I think that Tom Brady had problems with Washington, even though Washington has a very good defense. They had some problems putting up a lot of points on Washington. If Washington would have had Alex Smith in there, it would have been a real game. The game wasn't that far-fetched with the backup quarterback, the backup to the backup quarterback that they had in there. And so it was interesting to contrast. If they were playing the Saints with all those offensive weapons, it could have been a blowout if Washington just had Sean Payton and Drew Brees, you know. So I think the only people that could hurt the Saints is Sean Payton and Drew Brees with that play calling. And like you said, Darrell, if they stick to running the ball, their offensive line is much more stout than Tampa Bay's. You can chew up the clock. And Tom Brady, we know that he needs time to operate. So if you get him off center, he's used to throwing a little short passes from New England. They didn't really stretch the ball that much. Bruce Arians is a person who likes to throw the deep ball. Evidences of Jameis Winston was there. He threw a lot of interceptions, but he threw the most touchdowns in the league. 2 years ago when Jameis Winston was the starting quarterback? He had the most touchdowns of his career under Bruce Arians. And Bruce Arians is trying to get Tom Brady to throw down the field more. But like you said, the production of Antonio Brown and the chemistry that they're getting right now is scary. That's the only thing I'm scared about because we can't really defend that deep ball. Lattimore is a good corner, but he needs safety help all the time. And so I'm scared of Antonio Brown, the chemistry that they're developing. And what that says to me is that Tom Brady needs time. So that's why they want Leonard Fournette to come in to aid in pass protection. Whether Leonard Fournette is a good pass blocker, I don't know.
Don?
I just want to reinforce some of the points y'all made. I mean, great points. The points per game stat line is just almost even. Tampa has a 30.8 points per game stat line and the Saints 30.1. But this is where the difference is. Points allowed per game. Tampa has 23.1 points allowed per game. The Saints have only 9 points allowed per game. So when you look at that average, the defense for the Saints stands out to me. As long as we take care of the ball and time of possession, we should win this game. Our defense is a lot better than people give us for. And we've done time to your point that you're a little afraid of the coverage. I'm actually strengthened by what I've seen over the last several games with the Saints coverage downfield. They have this kind of bend but don't break mentality. And it's really tough to score on us. And I hope we keep that momentum. Like you say, I do agree with that. The Saints is a momentum team. And they ride the wave, and if they get up on you, they will make it tough for you to score on them.
I think this is going to come down to Sean Payton and Bruce Arians. I think it's a chess match. I don't think Bruce Arians, he's new to NFC South. Tom Brady's new to the NFC South, and he hasn't figured out Sean Payton's style with the multiple formations yet. Hence the 38-3 blowout the last time. I know they were trying to introduce Antonio Brown to kind of force feed him a little bit.
Well, Dave, wouldn't that be Todd Bowles? Todd Bowles is a defensive coordinator, so it's his job to figure out the offense. So Bruce Arians never claimed to be a defensive mastermind.
Well, that's why I say it's a chess match. I'll say it this way: if they don't get it right, Bruce Arians gonna be one to get fired. I tell you that.
Bruce Arians may not go anywhere. Trust me, the Todd Bowles of the world would be gone first before go. Trust me.
You fire your assistant first before you get fired.
That's right. If you don't fire him, then you taking off.
Right.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, I have seen Tampa's defense play well.
Yeah.
They got some good players. I know they had a couple of guys hurt. The kid from LSU, what's his name, the linebacker, he was out for a while, and that hurt him. They had a couple of guys out. But their defense runs well. They got a quick defense.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see,
This ain't the NFC East, man. I mean, the AFC East. You know what I mean?
Right.
Brady's learned that this is not a cakewalk, through the East, through the playoffs anymore, where you just arrive in a Super Bowl. And I don't think Bruce Arians and the staff has figured the Saints out. We're playing at home. Saints are a fast turf team as well. And you can rush with the front four. You don't have to blitz, which I hate all that blitzing. Now you got the D-line where you don't have to blitz all the time to bring pressure. So the safeties can sit back and they can get coverage, get allow for more coverage sacks. But I think this is Saints, just like we talked about Tyrone last night. Saints have too much chemistry. Tampa's putting this team together. They're throwing a lot of names. Oh, we got Fournette, Mike Evans. We got Tom Brady. Oh, we got Antonio Brown. It takes a while for that to gel,
If you think about all the teams that Tom Brady and Bill Belichick lost to, it's teams from the NFC East, the Giants twice and the Philadelphia Eagles. Two teams who have had tough defenses that put pressure on the quarterback and contain. They don't, like Don said, they'll be in it or break. They get the right amount of pressure. They rush Tom Brady because he's not very mobile and get him into making some bad decisions and disrupting those little short passes. And to your point, Don, the coverage might be smoke and mirrors because if you get defensive linemen putting pressure on Tom Brady, that means that you don't have time to set up for those long passes. So in respect to what Dave's saying, that's kind of coaching too, because if you're getting pressure, you can't take the time to set up for long, deep routes. You got to start doing what Tom Brady likes to do, these little short, intermediate routes. And the good thing is our linebacker core is sniffing that out too. So he can't get what he really wants. And Bruce Arians can't get what he wants, which is the long, deep thing, because the pressure you have from Cam Jordan and on the other defensive linemen as well. So that's the cornerback's best friend, is a pass rushing defensive lineman that's going to disrupt everything and make a receiver have to break off his route, or the quarterback got to throw the ball early, which a lot of those interceptions that Tom Brady threw against the Saints, it's those routes where the receiver break off to the edge, and he doesn't have enough time to deliver the ball in the right spot. And then the cornerback comes and intercepts the ball and gets a pick six. So a lot of his things are being hurried is the reason why they're getting interceptions.
That's why I think Gronk is going to have a good game today for the reasons that you just mentioned, Ty, and also what David was talking about, his weapons. One thing I think we hadn't talked about yet is what's his name? 13. Evans.
Mike Evans.
He's hurt. He's probably going to play, but he's got a knee injury.
A hyperextended knee.
I mean, I know he was hobbling off the field the last game they played in. It didn't look good, but they said he had no. Let's put it this way: they had to get an MRI, and they determined he didn't have any structural damage. But I mean, that's not saying you can be even 50%, 75% of who you are. You know, so that's going to be interesting. I also want to see, like you talked about, Ty. Brady had trouble completing the out passes.
Yep.
Now I want to, and that's why to my point with Gronk, is he going to have to go to more of an inside, like slants and stuff like that. And Gronk's going to help him. But his big receiver, Evans, is out. So Gronk's got to have a New England kind of game today if they have, for them to have a chance. And of course, the defense just got to step up. That's the bottom line.
Can our linebackers check Gronk? I think they're fast enough to.
I think Demario Davis is, but one key matchup I want to mention, when you look at Cam Jordan getting double on the line, Trey Henderson has been feasting off of that.
Oh, yeah.
And so he's going to be healthy. I think they purposely set him out last game so that they could make sure the neck injury wasn't, bothering him and he could get him together. And so he'll be able to come in and play some good minutes. I think he had 2.5 sacks against Brady last.
He did, yeah.
So that's another key matchup to watch. While Cam Jordan and Davenport trying to get theirs, you got another person they got to look out for, and that's Trey Henderson.
So let's go around. Score and prediction. What's y'all score and prediction? Tyrone, start us off.
30-23 Saints.
Okay. Darrell?
I'll say 28-17.
Okay. Saints?
Saints, yeah.
All right. Don?
I got Saints 27, Brady and company 21.
You might be right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say 28-21 Saints as well. All right. Well, let's switch gears. We did the pigskin. Let's move over to round ball. Yesterday was a blockbuster, or 2 days ago rather, a blockbuster trade in the NBA. James Harden has been sent to the Brooklyn Nets to team up with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And in exchange, Houston Rockets had Victor Oladipo and enough draft picks to last you till the next presidential election.
Yep, exactly.
What is your take on this experiment? Will this work? Is it finals or bust? And how do you rate the trade? Go ahead, Darrell. You.
Oh, okay. No, I didn't know if it was my turn.
You the show today.
I think Brooklyn made a big mistake.
Okay.
I don't see how the chemistry is going to work because now you have three guys who want the ball. Harden is not giving up the ball. Kyrie was enough of a person who wouldn't give up the ball, but at least he's a true point guard. He will, he can pass. And your best player is going to be left. KD is going to be left unhappy. Plus, they mortgaged the future.
Yes.
Not only did they give up 4 number ones, which is insane, even today when you're getting players so young, you got to develop. But they also, Brooklyn has the right to swap with them on the other years. They don't lose the number 1 pick, but they get to swap with the Rockets if the Rockets pick is higher.
Yeah,
it's like 7 number 1s. I just think it's an awful trade. I would not want James Harden anywhere around my team. He has not figured out that there's 2 sides of the court.
Yes.
It's a problem when your point guard, I guess that's what he is. He's got the ball all the time. When your point guard shoots all the shots and don't play defense, if you play pickup ball, people start walking off the court.
Yes. He can take him to Golden Corral, though, Darrell.
Huh?
He can take him to Golden Corral.
And Ryan's.
Yeah, he could. Then that's the other thing, the salaries, man.
Yes. Yes.
If people are saying they're going to be in the finals, I'll take that bet.
Okay.
Well, they got to be in the finals. This is what you're mortgaging for. To me, the Brooklyn Nets are the New York Yankees of the basketball organization. And I say that because the New York Yankees never developed their farming system. They never developed their younger players. They always leach players from other teams in the hopes of always going to the championship. They've had a lot of success with that model, but analytics has got them out of that model because analytics say, I don't need to pay all that money for those big time players. I can get me 3 players that can give me productivity and get there. And I'll still have room to pay, to use money. And then I can develop my farm system. Mm-hmm. At some point you have to do like the Lakers are doing. You have to have a balance between veteran and with new people that you're developing at the same time. Right. Because the luxury is that AD and LeBron James is going to get these young cats sometime. We saw it with Golden State. Golden State would beat teams so bad in the first 3 quarters that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson would sit down and you'd see these other players come in and start developing. Well, the Nets are not going to have that luxury at all. And like I told Dave before, you got somebody. How did I say that phrase, Dave? That Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are tender vittles. They tender vittles to get hurt all the time, and James Harden eat all the vittles. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna need to play all the time. And like you said, Darrell, it's championship or bust. You got a new coach, a new system. You throw in your new coach and system, and a GM has put all the eggs in one basket, which is James Harden. We already know that Kevin Durant had problems with Russell Westbrook at OKC taking all the shots. Well, you're going to be mad now. And also, what about that argument he got in with Draymond Green? Because he felt that Draymond was supposed to give him the ball in that clutch time. Mm-hmm. Well, doesn't Harden want to take the ball in clutch time? Kyrie thinks that it's his team.
Right.
It is not. I've seen the way KD been playing without Kyrie. They've been winning. I'm like, this is KD's team. He's the ultimate mismatch. And Kyrie has got head problems and he's got tender vittles as well.
Yeah. I'm gonna jump in there with a line my daughter told me this morning. How you gonna win when you ain't right within? How you gonna win when you ain't right within?
Wow.
Again, from Lauryn Hill. So
Lauryn Hill, right.
You looking
education.
Yeah, that's right. You looking at, like you all said, a James Harden who was doing anything he could to get out of Houston because he didn't want to rebuild with them. You're looking at Kyrie Irving, who wasn't satisfied playing with the number 1 player in the world, LeBron James, who took him to the finals every year he got there. He didn't even smell the finals before LeBron got there.
4 years in a row.
And then this man had a problem with LeBron James. And so he goes to Boston. That doesn't work. he's out of there. Now he's burning sage on Brooklyn's court.
Yeah.
Playing right now is KD. And like you said, to your point, Ty, Kyrie, not Kyrie Irving,
Kevin Durant.
Durant, all these K's. Kevin Durant, that is his team. This man has showed up and shown out every time he steps on the court. Now you're going to add 2 prima donnas to him in the mix. That's a lot to handle. That is it. Like Darrell said, to his point, anybody that I played with that didn't play defense when I was growing up, we didn't pick them. You didn't get picked back.
Especially if they also took all the shots.
And they took all the shots. First of all, we say, look, hey man, watch y'all swing the ball over here. Right, this side of the court. You understand? We can't play ball like this. And when I'm running up and down, I'm defending some of the toughest men on the court. And then you let go Jared Allen. That boy is a serious contender as a center. And Karis LeVert. I love that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That kid could ball. That's just right there. Those two, you really didn't need James Harden. I'm with Darrell. God keep him far away from my squad as possible. I don't care if he's trying to get out of Houston. Let him go somewhere else.
I have a different take on this situation. Kyrie has been saying that he's playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers, and I am by no means a Kyrie Irving fan, okay? Now, as a basketball player, he's absolutely talented and phenomenal, okay?
Yeah.
Don't take that away from him. But I think this not telling the coach where he's going, telling Kevin Durant where he's going before he tells the coach and just vanish for 3-4 days and say, I need personal time, but you at your father's birthday party and your sister's birthday party without a mask, and then when you're supposed to be at a team meeting, you're on a district attorney's Zoom call, fundraiser Zoom call in think tank. When you, and they're recording the meeting, they're gonna put it on the New Jersey website, okay? Saying, and you got your name up there under your Zoom call saying Kyrie Irving on Kyrie Irving on about, okay? I really think he learned something from LeBron and did a power move just then with those 5 days. If you remember when LeBron went back to Cleveland and he was trying to put his imprint on a franchise and they got content with LeBron taking over and everybody stopped playing defense and dudes jacking up shots. Some dudes trying to open up restaurants because they're big time now because LeBron took December off and just watched them lose for a whole month. And he said to the media, he said, there's a lot of bad habits, bad losing. A lot of losing been going over here since I've been gone, okay? And he said they need to learn, and he took off. I think Kyrie took a page from that book and said, because with management, they don't want to spend money, okay? If I'm the general manager, I'm saying, I got Kevin Durant and I got Kyrie Irving. I'm not going to press for James Harden. I got 2 stars. I'm going to sell tickets. We may get to the finals, but I got them locked in contract. So this is it. I think by Kyrie Irving going AWOL, it pressured Brooklyn to get an insurance policy just in case he decides that he doesn't want to play ball anymore or burn sage or go back to Australia or whatever it is he wants to do. I think he did a power move to force him to get more talent to bring the third player in.
That's a good point, Dave.
Because otherwise, they really had double everything. You had Spencer Dinwiddie, who I love his game, and Karis LeVert. Mm-hmm. You had
DeAndre Jordan.
And you had Jared Allen. They had a duplicate of just about everything on the bench. You had Joe Harris and Kevin Durant, two shooters. You had Kyrie and you had Mehmet, the guy from the Clippers, who they just got. They had a double of everything. But it looked to me, in my mind, it looks like he did play chess with them and did this 5-game mystery act to pressure them to make this trade.
Landry Shamet is who you're talking about.
That's it, yeah, right. They had the other guy, the other guard. So they had a duplicate of everybody out there. And so I think he pressured them about this behavior to push them to get more talent, you know?
I think you're right, because soon as Harden was getting the process of being signed, mysteriously now Kyrie is out of the woodworks, and they say, he won't be ready for Saturday's game, but he'll be ready for Monday or Tuesday morning.
But they're making him sit out. They're making him sit out the next 2 games as a part of a fine. But guess how much he's being fined for breaking protocol? Only $50. So,
but he's got over the course of this season, he's had what, $86,700 in fines.
Yeah,
because of
And then
So,
this
Darrell,
cost him $800,000.
800,000. Yeah.
800,000. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So, Darrell, I have a question for you. As a sports writer, how do you approach a story like this? What would you write about this, and how would you approach writing something like this?
Well, how would I approach writing about the situation that's going on with Kyrie?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you just have to talk to a lot of people, you know, and you try to. They're probably going to tell you more off the record than on,
Right.
which you can use it creativity. You can't say they said it. Usually you say an NBA source or team source or somebody close to Kyrie, however you want to say it. And you definitely, if you can, get an interview with him. And see, then you have other sources around the league. Like you might, if you covered been in the league long enough, you might can talk to LeBron off the record. Or he might talk on the record, but probably not. But he can give you some background stuff. You know. And but you would definitely need to talk to Kyrie and just ask him some very pointed questions to get to the bottom of it. But you gotta make him trust you though. You gotta make him believe that you're kind of on his side. So you don't want to go in there like you're fussing at him, you know.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't know if he would tell you the truth, but between management, league sources, and the subject himself, you get something. Now, you want to talk to one of his friends, like KD, but you also want to talk to somebody who don't like him, like the former GM of the Cavs or the Celtics.
Right.
You know, and just ask him like, I know your mind is on your own team, but I'm just asking you off the record if you want. What's your take on this Kyrie Irving situation? And did y'all deal with anything remotely similar to this? And if they trust you, they're gonna open up. Now, a lot of times you can't quote them because they don't want to get fined or they don't want to get in trouble. And you know, they're vice president of basketball operations is like, well, why you got time to talk about Kyrie? You know,
right?
We're trying to get the Celtics to win. You know, but if you got enough sources around the league, what you usually do. And the NBA is a lot less. The NFL is a lot more militaristic. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And they guard. They play plays a lot more close to the vest. With the NFL, you got to get through to the players more than the NFL. I mean, than the NBA. The NBA, you can get more management types, inside front office types than you can in the NFL.
To Darrell's point, the NFL hires more ex-FBI agents than any other law enforcement agency. So all those guys, that when they say, "Oh, we didn't know," they know everything. NFL knows everything. Yeah. One guy, they brought him in for a draft, and they said, you know, ask you all kind of questions about your personal life, and they said, "When's the last time you've seen your brother?" And the guy said, "I don't have a brother." They knew he had a half brother, and he didn't know that he had a half.
Wow.
Well, they didn't know Randy Moss was going to be great, so they should have interviewed that. They should have looked at some footage.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes.
They had footage of him drinking wine. That's what scared him.
That's what scared him, man.
Yeah. But you know, Kyrie has had some. I don't want to interrupt anybody, but Kyrie has had some issues too ever since his mother died. He goes back and forth with that. I think it's been a while, but him burning the sage and all that. That's, you know, his mother was an American Indian.
Oh.
And recently, I think it's been in the past year or so, maybe in the past 18 months, the tribe she belonged to, what's the word they use? Like when they make you almost like, well, he's obviously their relative, but they made him like a full member or something. And he's taken that very seriously. So all that sage burning and all that, a lot of that has to do with that. His new identity or whatever as an American Indian and all.
Oh, okay.
That's great and all, bro, but I can't listen to a dude who thinks the world is flat, bro.
Oh, he's still tripping. I didn't say he wasn't tripping.
Yeah. So what's your...
You better listen to him if he's going to throw that rock to you. You
ain't got to worry about that.
It's flat as a dime.
Look, some people shouldn't have left college after their freshman year.
Yes. Yes.
Missed a lot of classes.
So what's
Ben
y'all
Simmons.
what's y'all prediction on Brooklyn? Do y'all think they make it to the finals, or do you think they get knocked out in the playoffs, or do you think they win the finals?
I think they get knocked out in the East.
Who's the
think
leading contender to knock them out?
I'd be surprised to see them face a surging Sixers. I mean, right now the Sixers are surging. Celtics have always been a contender in the East. So you gotta. I think they might be putting the apples before the cart and need to, look at, really assess how they're going to address, their strategy and how they're playing in the playoffs. I'm not playing in the playoffs, but how they would get in the playoffs and then which seed they want to be in, because I think that has everything to do with how far you can go in the playoffs.
I think that. Okay, I'm sorry.
No, great. You got it, Ty.
I think that we'll know that answer to the question when they get their first taste of adversity. And I think that when they come in, they're just going to have so much offensive prowess that they're going to be successful the first couple of games and stuff. But the closer they get to the end of the season without adversity, that's going to be bad for them. Because the first time they get outmatched or outplayed by a lesser team like the Boston Celtics on paper, who have extremely good chemistry, and Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum, they got high IQ players, and the coach has a great system. Let's look at Steve Nash as a first-time coach. So adversity is going to come on his end too, and
Right.
We know that all of those players like to play the blame game. As good as Kevin Durant is, he plays the blame game. But he chooses to use a burner account to express his feelings instead of saying it out loud. Kyrie, in a sense of him being a dominant point guard, he's more like a shooting guard than he is. He rarely has a lot of assists. Now he's killing. Harden, he's got to have the ball in his hand. Now it's going to look fun for a while, but the minute that your chemistry is tested, then what are you going to revert back to? Is Harden going to revert back to going in his shell and blaming everybody when Chris Paul is trying to educate him, he's slapping that Chris Paul hand? Is KD going to play the blame game and say, I'm the franchise. If y'all don't like it, I'm going to go somewhere else. I already got a ring. Is Kyrie going to say, hey, I came to the team first and drafted y'all, so it's really my team? But somebody got to take a back seat. Ask Chris Bosh. He was the man on Toronto, but he wanted a ring. Kevin Love was the man on Minnesota. They never got to past the playoffs. To the playoffs. I don't think they ever made it to the playoffs. Somebody got to take a back seat, and somebody's got to be the leader of the team.
Another thing to watch, Ty, is you mentioned Nash being the first-time coach and all. Mm-hmm. Kyrie, one of the things he was stewing about was he felt he should have had input on the selection of the coach, and he doesn't like Nash. I think he doesn't like Nash simply because he didn't have the input. I don't think it's anything philosophical or whatever, because how can you not like a former point guard whose former coach put the ball in his hands and empowered him so much? You know he's going to bring some of that to the Nets, right? And so Kyrie Irving is saying, he's not crazy about Nash, right? So that'll be something interesting to watch too.
And his former coach is assistant on the team, D'Antoni.
Yeah, yeah.
He said he don't need a coach. Kyrie said he don't need a coach. Remember? He said, I could be the coach one night. KD could be the coach one night. He's not personal with Steve Nash. They don't want a coach, period. They just want to run up and down. But I mean, to backtrack a little bit, when I think, Tyrone, you were talking about Kevin Durant got into it with Draymond Green, I ain't gonna lie. If Draymond Green got the ball, I want the ball at the end, not Draymond Green. I would get mad at him. If we playing pickup ball, I want the ball for the last shot over Draymond Green. If we playing in Franklin Gym, I want the ball over Draymond. He an NBA player.
But Dave, we're think about it.
Harden shooting it over me, but Draymond shooting it over me? Nah, Black.
Think about it, Dave. All four of us are family, and we can argue. But if you had another person come in and say, "Hey, man, give me this," like that, you'd be like, "Bruh, Dave could talk to me. Dal could talk to me like that. Don talk, but that's you."
Yeah,
man. They had won two championships without KD. One without KD, and he coming into their system. You're like, man,
Right.
that's not how we do things over here. You better get out of here with that. Even though KD was right, but you don't go off in a game like that. The game's still playing. You got to behind closed doors. Got to say, hey, bro, I'm your best option in this position. And you go to the coach. You say, hey, coach, look, let's look at the tape right here. Shouldn't I have gotten the ball? Now let the coach tell Draymond is you got to get the ball in these situations.
But the point you're making, that's the exact point Draymond made. Like, hey, we were winning championships before you got here.
Right, right, right.
He told him, he said, if you don't like it, opt out.
Right.
Remember that? Remember when he
right,
told him to opt out of his contract if he don't like what's going on in Golden State?
right.
I think they have two teams that's tailor-made to beat them in the East. I think Boston can beat them. They got Marcus Smart, who's a tough defender who can guard multiple positions, so he can guard Harden or Kyrie on any given night. None of those players play defense. Kyrie last year was not last year. 3 years ago was the second worst defender in the league. People averaged 1.2 points per possession when they were playing against him. Okay, the first worst person was Isaiah Thomas, who's about 5-6 inches shorter than he is. Okay, you can score on Harden, you can score on Kyrie Irving. Durant is an acceptable defender, but he's not a lockdown defender. So with those two wings in Boston, with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they're going to be a nightmare because Durant got to step out and guard. He can't hang around the rim and play defense and block shots and rebounds. Now it's going to extend him out of the paint. Now you're playing small ball. You got Smart and you still got Jaylen Brown. And they got, the chemistry. They have it. They've been there together for a while. And then, people can't sleep on Miami. They act like Miami didn't just go to the finals. Bam is healthy. Dragic is healthy. They still got Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets, Tyler Hero. And they defend from the moment they walk on the court. They think of defense first, which would be a nightmare for Brooklyn. Yeah. Brooklyn does not defend, and all they want to do is score. They don't want to get anybody's personals. They want to play a pretty game. So I think those two teams are tailor-made to beat Brooklyn as it stands.
Don't sleep on Toronto. Toronto Raptors is a very hated team. I mean, I wouldn't dare count them out because they have chemistry.
They lost too much. I would give 76ers an edge over them to do anything. They've lost too much, the Toronto Raptors. And Siakam is trying to find his role now that Kawhi Leonard is not there, and then they lost a couple of other pieces. So I don't know about Toronto. They have been doing well. And in Miami, Jimmy Butler's been hurt. They've been struggling without Jimmy Butler. They've been going through a lot of injuries. That I would say that they will get better if the injuries they get healthy. But it's funny that you said Isaiah Thomas because I read something yesterday that the Nets are trying to get Isaiah Thomas to run the second unit. So
another scorer.
Right, exactly.
Well, guys, I really appreciate everybody coming in. We had a great show. Of course, when you have the experience and knowledge of Darrell Williams on your show, it's going to bring it to the next level. We also had another guest in the background. We don't know who that was walking by, but somebody else on the show also.
Oh, that was my granddaughter.
Oh, okay, all right.
Kylie.
My little cousin.
Right.
I think everybody had some really good points. Really good. I enjoyed it.
Well, we got to have you back on anytime you want to. The show is yours, Darrell. And thanks, Don, as always, for your input. I actually agree with you on that Toronto. Can't sleep on them with those wing defenders that they have. They can get it back together, and they have Van Fleet. Tyrone is always
talk about Bucs, Dave, and we totally didn't mention Milwaukee, who is second.
Oh wow,
David don't like Milwaukee. David doesn't like Milwaukee.
They're a hell of a team, and who's from the Nets gonna check Giannis? That's the question.
And now they got Drew Holiday, who can.
They got Drew.
He's a two-way player. I like that. He played well. Remember when the Pelicans beat Portland?
Yes.
It's because he was doing well against the Portland guards defensively.
They locked up on Damian Lillard and
McCollum.
Yeah.
Speaking
and
of
tough. That's a tough job.
Did y'all see Giannis and his brother roll up on that dude from Detroit who threw Giannis down?
Whoa.
Oh, you got to see that one, bro.
I never saw it.
Giannis and his brother walked up like this to the dude. And what's his brother on the team? I can't think his name.
Dionysus is one of his
Yeah. He's standing there like this, right? And Giannis was like telling him something like, you know what you did, like that. And they was about to get him, bro. And Blake Griffin pulled him back, whatever. But when you have your brother on the team, bro, especially when that's not playing a lot, you know what your role is, bro.
Yeah.
Darrell, you may remember this. Do you remember Maurice Lucas used to play for?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, sure.
Maurice Lucas' brother used to be in the crowd.
Really?
And he had a big leather jacket, leather overcoat, but he didn't play ball. He was the same size as Maurice Lucas, 6'10". And if somebody hard fouled his brother, he would reach in his jacket. And he said he would meet you after the game and shoot your car out in the parking lot. Is with his brother.
Crazy.
Well, guys, I enjoyed having everybody on. Check us out next week on another episode of Shoot the J. And we'll see y'all next week. And go Saints.
Yes.
Cue the music.